Are you excited to be a YouTube star today? We are just pulling up to the shops. I think we're gonna go to QBD and Big W because those are my personal favorite places to shop at the moment. Do you have any idea what you're gonna pick out for me? Any genre ideas?
The genre you show me?
Well, you can do any, like you can pick anything.
You show me the general genre.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like point out, be like, this is a mystery section, this is the romance section, this is
get the goodies.
Yeah, the YA section, and then you can just kind of pick. I think we're gonna do 3. Sure. And obviously, like, I'll tell you if I already own it, I've already read it, that sort of thing, so we're not like wasting money. But I'm kind of nervous to see what you pick. Like, he could literally pick out something that's on my wish list accidentally. I'm not gonna tell him. I'm gonna try and like help you the least amount possible, while still being like practical about it.
Chill.
Liam is a man of many ways, if you haven't noticed.
Just smile.
Smile and wave. Who is that? Cricket?
Yeah. Sent Tim Payne.
I'd rather not, but if you really want me to.
Even to Matthew Riley.
I've never read a Matthew Riley book. Do you want that one?
One of the most beautiful stories you'll ever read.
I wonder what it's actually like about. Oh, I don't see what the egg is about.
Maybe it's a metaphor.
Really taking this quite seriously. Going for the general fiction section to begin with.
Girl, warrior, heretic, saint. France is mired in a losing war against England. No.
I already see so many that I want. I'm really worried about that stack. It keeps wobbling. Oh, really?
Have you read it?
No, I haven't read that one.
No.
Not that one?
Bad vibes.
Oh, careful, babe. You're really just keep wobbling.
Do you see heaps here that you want?
Yeah. Like, I see at least like 5 just that I'm like, yeah.
Ooh.
Really?
I remember doing a photo shoot.
I love how much he's researching this. Does that one look good?
Sure. Okay.
We could even make a maybe pile and then you can... So that one's on the maybe pile?
First or second?
What do you mean?
Is that first in the series?
Is it a series? I don't know.
They look the same.
I'll look it up actually. I think this could be the first one. Are those your 2 maybes? We have The Witcher and Vicious to choose between. You can go for Vicious? First pick. Back to the romance section. Well, general fiction, but this is where the romance is. I can see so many that look good. Very picky. I love it.
I should just look at publishers.
That's like probably the worst thing you could look at. Not the title, not the cover, not the blurb. I feel like the cover is better. Looking in the YA section now.
I've been watching Arrested Development.
Great choice, honestly. The spin. He can't choose the third one. Okay, what is it?
Stephen King, maybe not.
Just picks like the biggest book in the entire bookshop.
Okay. The Wonder.
Okay. Okay guys, we are home. We have our 3 books that Liam picked out. I honestly think he did such a good job. Like, I'm genuinely excited for all of these. I'll quickly run through what we ended up getting. The first one that Liam picked out was Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which I'm actually really excited about. I haven't read any V.E. Schwab books, but I've obviously heard so much about her and her writing. Liam read the blurb of this one and he was like, yeah, I picked this one. And so I was reading it as he continued looking for other books and I was like, this sounds so interesting. Again, I've heard people talk about this but not actually what it's about. But it says Victor and Eli started out as college roommates, brilliant, arrogant, lonely boys who recognize the same ambition in each other. A shared interest in adrenaline, near-death experiences, and seemingly supernatural events reveals an intriguing possibility that under the right conditions, someone could develop extraordinary abilities. It continues on, but it just sounds so incredibly interesting. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm excited. Then the second book he picked out was The Cousins by Karen M. McManus, and again, I'm so excited about this. This is actually a book that I've had on my wish list for the longest time, and my friend Shah, I'll link her Bookstore down below, literally just did a post about this book and said that she has read all of Karen M. McManus's books and this is her new favorite. And so I'm like, this is so good, because I was gonna honestly ask for this for Christmas anyway. I also don't really know what this is about. The story family are the envy of their neighbors, rich, beautiful, and glamorous. We love rich people drama. And finally, we have Today's Tonight Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. A fantastic pick once again. Not gonna lie, we had to help a little bit with this one. Only because Liam was just like, I literally don't know what to pick and I'm so overwhelmed with all of the options. I've already picked 2. I just don't know what to pick. And I was like, okay, I will just point to a bunch that I like the look of and you can just pick from that to make it a little bit easier and less overwhelming. So I was just like, that one, picked out like 10 probably, and Liam chose this one, which again, very excited about. YA romance, academic rivals to lovers from what I've heard. And I also just recently read a YA romance where there was this game of assassin and it was so fun to read, and I feel like this might give similar vibes to that because their whole like year level is playing a game together. I don't know what the game is, but apparently they team up, and before that they're like academic rivals. So this sounds like a lot of fun. Which one do you want me to read first?
First one?
Vicious?
Yeah.
Which one do you want me to read second?
I think just in order, because that's the order that I...
Pick them out?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Vicious, but once I start this, I will update you guys on my thoughts. And at the very end, we'll sit down with Liam once again and I'll share my thoughts about his picks.
I have to tell you guys something, and I'm not proud of it, but I have read this entire book and I did not give you any updates throughout the whole thing. I don't even know why. Like, I have no excuse apart from that I was just so engrossed in this that I kind of just forgot that I was supposed to be giving you guys updates. I promise I will give updates for the other books, but I have finished it now and I can't even remember what I really thought going into this. Apart from this would not have been a book I would have picked up unless Liam had picked it out for me. It's just not a book that I'd heard a lot about, and it's also not my normal genre, kind of. Someone told me this is sci-fi. On Goodreads it says fantasy, sci-fi, magical realism, urban fantasy. Like, there's a lot of kind of labels that's been given, so I don't know exactly what it is, but it definitely isn't the normal type of fantasy that I would lean towards. It's definitely not fantasy romance, it's definitely not YA, and those are kind of my usual fantasy genres that I go for. I think if I had to guess what I was going to rate it, probably like a 3-star or a 4-star maybe, but this was a 5-star read for me. This was phenomenal. It was so good. I feel like the concept of this book is extremely well done, and not only that, but the execution is also phenomenal, and that makes me so happy because I feel like a lot of the time when I am really excited about a concept, it kind of fails to impress me with its execution, but this just impressed me the whole way through. And I think if you liked the Atlas 6 and you haven't read this, you need to get on it because it reminded me so much of the Atlas 6 just in terms of vibes. It does have that dark academia feel to like part of it, like one of the timelines, because it is set in a college. And in this book, the fantasy elements are basically anyone who experiences a near-death experience, they end up getting like a power. So for example, there's one character who can pause time. There's one character who, if she tells someone to do something, they have to do it. That sort of thing. And it seems like a lot of people in this world don't even know that the EOs, which is what they're called, extraordinaries, the people with powers, they don't even know that they exist. And it kind of sounds like the government knows and like the police force know, but they're kind of trying to keep it secret, or like as secret as possible. But that whole concept is just so interesting to me. The fact that it's just like a very like normal world, like very much like our world, but there's just like some people with secret powers. That is just so cool because it kind of just feels like it could be real as well. But the basic concept of this is that there are 2 college roommates, they're best friends, they're top of their class, and in one of their classes they have to do this project and they can pick whatever subject they want, you know, within reason, and write this huge project about it. And one of the boys decides to do theirs on EOs, which are the extraordinaries, the people who have these powers and like how they get them and all this sort of stuff. And so these college boys figure out how people are getting these powers and they basically try and get powers themselves. And there's this then and now timeline, and this whole college situation is the then timeline, so it's like 10 years ago, and the now timeline, so we're like 10 years later. One of those men has just escaped jail, and the other one is this like town hero. So we have like the hero and the villain. The hero is the guy who like saves the day, and the villain is the guy that got sent to jail but has just escaped jail and is now seeking revenge on his best friend. So it's best friends to enemies, which is just such a unique trope and so cool to read about. And you just get to read about how it ends up like that, like how they went from best friends to enemies, and then also them kind of meeting again and what happens there. But I'm excited to read the next book in the series and see what I think, because this was just so good. So if you like the Atlas 6, definitely pick this one up. Or if you just like the dark academic, kind of like mystery, fantasy, I guess sci-fi. I don't really know what sci-fi even is, but if you like that sort of stuff, or even if you don't and you're just looking for something outside of your comfort zone, definitely pick this up because it was a absolutely amazing 5-star read for me. It's time to start on book number 2. So I will be moving on to The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I've read a few books by this author, but not in a very, very long time. Like when I first started reading or like getting back into reading, I read a couple of her books, but it'll be interesting to see if my mind has changed now that I've read a lot of other books and I kind of have more of a, I don't want to say mature, but just like a better understanding of my own reading taste, what I enjoy, the writing that I enjoy, all that sort of stuff. But from what I can gather, this book is about 3 cousins who go to stay with their grandma for a summer. Sorry, their grandmother's resort. So obviously their grandma must own a resort, so they've gone to spend the summer there. They don't really know her very well, and I don't think they know each other very well, even though they're cousins. And I'm assuming there's just going to be like a lot of family secrets, a lot of rich people drama. There might be an inheritance involved. I don't really know. I feel like I've read a lot of books recently, or like this year, that have given those Knives Out vibes where it's like, oh, there's some rich person in the family and they just have this huge inheritance, and all the kids or like all the people in the will want all the money, and there's always like heaps of secrets. But honestly, I do enjoy those books too, so we'll see what I think. If I had to guess what I'm going to rate this, I'd probably guess like either a 3.5 or a 4. That's what I'm guessing. I'm now just over 100 pages in and I'm really enjoying it so far. There's definitely a lot of like family secrets and I don't even know what most of them are at this point. So basically there's the grandma who owns a resort, and then she has 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl. And for some reason, the grandmother has cut them all off. They must have done something to upset her, make her mad, make her sad. I don't really know. And it also seems like those siblings have kind of cut each other off as well. Like they don't really keep in touch with each other, like the 4 kids of the grandmother. That is also why they don't really know each other very well, because their parents don't even keep in touch and they've never even met their grandma. So when they're invited to come work at the resort that their grandma owns for the summer, they are so confused. Their parents are confused, but for some reason they do it, which doesn't really make that much sense to me. I think the parents convince their kids to do it because the parents think that it might be a way in with the grandma, get back in touch, obviously, so they're not cut off anymore because they probably want the inheritance. That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, so far so good. We've had like one revelation, I would say. Like there was like one secret from one of the cousins that got revealed, but I think that's all we've really got so far. But it's definitely very interesting, very easy to read, definitely holds my attention, so I'm enjoying it and I'm intrigued to see what else happens. Also, it's about 320 pages, I think, so I'm like a third of the way through. I'm now like 150 pages in, more secrets are getting revealed and it's getting more juicy and I'm still really, really enjoying it. I think I've decided that I like mysteries a lot more than I like thrillers. I think this is considered a mystery. It doesn't really have any thriller aspects to it right now. I'm assuming the suspense is what makes a thriller, but I could be wrong. But yeah, really, really enjoying this. About halfway through now. And at this point it's sitting at like probably a 4 stars. It is much later now. It is like, what time is it? 7:43 p.m. and I'm just kind of dropping my phone, just kind of getting settled for the night. I'm about to have a shower, but I've done a little bit more reading and I officially have 50 pages left and I'm very intrigued to see what happens because I feel like there are still a lot that needs to be solved and a lot of secrets that I'm like, what is the answer to this, you know? Also, I was trying to think of what I would compare this book to, just because sometimes I find that helpful to be like, it kind of reminds me of this, or it gives these vibes, because often if you enjoy the other books that I mention, maybe you'll enjoy this. And here's what I've come to. I feel like it's a mix of the Inheritance Games and Outer Banks. So if either of those sound good to you, I definitely recommend this. Yeah, only a tiny bit left, but I'm gonna go shower before I finish it. Good morning, friends. I finished The Cousins last night, but when I finished it, Liam was asleep next to me and I didn't want to wake him up. So here we are the next morning. This was so good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna give it like 4, maybe 4.25. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, mind-blowing, amazing, but it was just so entertaining the whole time. It kept my interest the whole time. I didn't guess like the main plot twist / secret at the end, which once I found out what it was, I was like, why did I not guess that? But I guess that's kind of like that's how you want to feel almost when you read a mystery or a thriller. Whatever the plot twist is at the end, you want it to make sense and be like, oh my gosh, of course, but you don't want to guess it. So I'm glad I didn't guess it, but I'm also like, why didn't I guess it? It wasn't like that hard to guess. Definitely recommend if you like YA mystery / YA thrillers. It definitely like is younger, but I think I actually prefer YA mysteries and thrillers because they tend to be just a little bit more fun and not as like scary or suspenseful. Like I feel like they're just like a good time. And I think I said this earlier, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Outer Banks meets Inheritance Games a little bit. I feel like it kind of gives me Inheritance Games vibes because there is like this grandmother who has so much money, she has this inheritance, and it's like the grandkids trying to figure it out, which is like very similar to this. And then it also gives me Outer Banks vibes because they're on this small island and there's like a mystery. They're not trying to find like gold or whatever they're doing in Outer Banks, but it just has that like summery vibe. Teenagers, mystery, you know what I mean? Anyway, not as good as Vicious. I think I guessed this would be a 3.5 or a 4-star read. And I was right. And that leads me into our final book of this video, which is Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, which I'm pretty sure is a YA romance, academic rivals to lovers. So it's about Rowan and Neil, and they're about to finish high school. They're in their senior year, and they've always like competed academically, I think. And it looks like they're going to play this big like senior class game, which sounds really fun. So I'm intrigued to see what I think of this. If I have to guess what I'm going to give this, I do tend to really enjoy YA romance. Maybe 4 stars. If I had to guess. It sounds really promising to me, and I've heard like good and bad reviews about this, but I would say a majority of them have been like fairly good. I don't think I've heard a lot of 5-star reviews about this, but I think a lot of people tend to enjoy this, so fingers crossed we end on a good note. So far so good though. I'm shocked that all of these books so far have, well, there's only been 2, but like all of these books have been so enjoyable to me so far. Maybe I need to get Liam to choose my books more often. Little book update. I have just gotten ready for the morning. I'm about to head out on a walk. But I'm now 140 pages in, and this book is about 380 pages, just under 400 pages I think. And if I'm being honest, right now I'm feeling a bit like meh about it. It's not bad and I'm not disliking it. It's just kind of like, yeah, like it's fine. To be fair, this book does have to have a bit of setup because we have to understand both of our main characters. So we have Rowan and Neil. We do only get to read from Rowan's perspective. That kind of sucks because I feel like it would be so much more interesting to also read from Neil's. And it's pretty obvious to me that like he is in love with her, but like pretending he's not, but like he gets nervous around her and like all these little things where she's like, oh, he just hates me, and like, oh, he's just flustered about doing a speech, and it's like, no, he's in love with you, obviously. And she is just so annoying. Rowan is so annoying. She's just very self-focused. Like she's an awful friend. She's just obsessed with school to the point where she doesn't care about her friends. Everything else can come second after school, which is, I get it. Like it's kind of just like the character arc she's been given, but it's just annoying. Like you read it and you're just like, ugh. Come on, please. Like, you need some more depth to you because right now you're just so shallow. And I am assuming there's going to be some good character development in this book. I just don't think the author would write the main character to be annoying the whole time. Like, I really do think there's got to be some sort of character development. So I'm looking forward to that because I do love some character development. But right now I'm just like, okay, she's annoying. We don't really know that much about Neil right now, so I don't really have anything to comment about him. They are playing the senior game now, which is good because it took a decent amount of time to get to that point. And now that we're playing the game, I do think it's a little bit more interesting. So I do think it has potential. But right now I'm just like, I don't really care about these characters. I don't really care if they end up together or not. If there's not character development, this will end up being pretty bad, I think, in my opinion. But I have hope. But I think I'm going to actually go for a walk and listen to it as an audiobook because I did find the audiobook on my library and I just like need to get outside. I've spent the last few days just reading basically and working at my desk, like literally working at my computer and then reading. I'm just in need of some vitamin D, so I'm gonna listen to this and I'll give you an update a little bit later. Went for my walk. It was so hot. I feel like I sweat so much, but it was nice to get some sun. So I listened to like an hour of the audiobook during my walk and then I came home and read a little bit more, and now I'm at page 277. So I have just over 100 pages left. And I will say, I feel like I was a bit harsh on this book last time I spoke to you. I feel like we've already had a lot of character development, especially with Rowan, who is like our main girl. Honestly, we've gotten to know both the characters very well and they've both become a lot more likable to me. But yeah, at the start, Rowan was just yeah, she was not it, but she's definitely grown on me a lot more, and she just has so much more depth to her as well, so I'm enjoying it. I'm still not obsessed, and I'm still not like, oh my gosh, you guys need to read this, but it is good and I'm enjoying it. My battery just died, but the only other thing I wanted to say is one thing that I really like about this book is that it is full of like text message conversations like this, and then also we've got like the rules of the game that they're playing, and like just really fun, confidential, this is how the game's gonna work, like here's all the information. We see receipts from places they go eat, incident report forms, like just really cute little, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's not all just like words on a page. It kind of reminds me of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, where they would have like random articles or like photographs and things like that mixed in to kind of show you the evidence. Like that's what it was in that book. And in this one, it's just like, I don't know, it makes it seem a lot more real, seeing the rules of the game on a list and the invitation to play and the text messages and stuff. Like it's just set up really fun. Very YA vibes, but I personally love that. Anyway, the next time I update you, I'll probably be done. So I'm interested to see how it ends, and I'm also interested to see if I continue to like it more and more as it goes on, because I have so far. We have now completed this book. Sorry if I look really shiny, I've just been laying out in the sun, so I just chucked a cover up on, and I'll probably go shower in a second because I am so hot. It is just, it really feels like summer here today. It's definitely 30 something degrees. Oh, it's only 31, but then it gives a warning of extreme heat. Anyway, I have finished Today's Tonight Tomorrow, and I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time, but it just didn't like stand out to me, and I don't think it's gonna be something that's super memorable for me, especially compared to other romances and YA romances that I've read. I didn't connect as much to the characters as I sometimes do. I feel like if I can like really connect to the character, then obviously I'm going to be a bit more attached and I'll probably rate it higher, but I can also see why this could be a favorite for other people if you do connect more to the main character, if that makes any sense. Overall, it was a good time, a fun time. I really like the concept of the actual storyline, the plot. Playing this game, I think it's called Howl. It's a game of assassin mixed with a scavenger hunt, and that whole concept was super, super fun. But yeah, overall it was fun, it was good, but it was probably, even though I enjoyed it, it was probably my least favorite of the 3 that I ended up reading, which is really interesting because this is probably the one that I had heard the most about prior to reading these books, and probably the one that I was looking forward to the most based on just like my normal reading taste. I will say it did remind me a little bit of Better Than the Movies, so if you really liked Better Than the Movies and maybe this is another book you'd quite enjoy. I liked Better Than the Movies a lot more than I enjoyed this one, but it gave me like a similar type of vibe. It's got that rivals to lovers, that high school atmosphere, kind of just that playful fun vibe, which I do really enjoy the vibe. This one just like wasn't amazing to me, but like I said, still a great time. So now I honestly just have to wait for Liam to get home tonight from work and we can kind of tell him how well he did. And I also never asked him what he thought I would think of these books, so I'm intrigued to kind of make him guess what I rated these and what I thought of them. We have to cover up the important businessman things for privacy reasons, but Liam is here. I finished all the books and I want him to guess, I want you to guess what I rated each book. So 5 stars is the best. What do you think I rated Vicious?
I reckon Vicious Schwalbe is 4.5.
4.5. What do you reckon I rated The Cousins?
4.
And what do you reckon I rated Today's Tonight Tomorrow?
I'll go 3.5. Descending
2 out of 3 you got right. Okay, so I rated this one 3.5. This one 4 stars, and this one 5.
Oh!
So you're really close. But this one was my favourite.
Schwalbe, I knew.
And you like this one the best too when you picked it out. Nice work. You should pick my TV up more often. What can I say? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I honestly had so much fun. If you want to see a part 2, let me know, because Liam might be into it. We'll see. Or maybe I could get like one of my best friends to pick my books. I don't know. Let me know if you have any other ideas with this sort of vibe. But I hope you had fun watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.